Bitcoin yesterday doing exactly what we talked about was the likely scenario, which is bouncing off the support here. Now, again, remember, as a trader, we just are monitoring this line, which is around 92,000, give or take, and this trend line, which is upsloping, currently sitting around 102,400 or so. But the point being is that
Bitcoin Zella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now, guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to Bitcoin Zella today and enjoy the new edge. Join Gareth Soloway as he breaks down his Bitcoin trades, warns of a market shakeup, and exposes brewing crypto troubles. Don't miss his insights and strategies.
all the forecasts that I'm seeing are telling me that inflation rising, all right, means less Fed cuts, potential government spending slowdown, whether the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, does it or not. The likelihood is there'll be some cutbacks, which will slow spending, so that's less stimulus into the economy. Those factors should slow the economy in 2025, and that will eventually make the 10-year roll over, right? So again, eventually as the economy slows. Now, the question is, how low will we go in 2025? My worst case scenario would be right here. There's a major area around 3.25 to 3.3%, right? So that would be kind of my max downside in 2025. And I do think it's possible. But if I had to game it out, I would think there might be something like this, right? We go up here and then we kind of, have this type of move eventually back down to those levels where, again, that tells us the economy is slowing enough where the Fed is going, even if inflation remains high. And by the way, inflation actually should start to come in a little bit. So even if it upticks right now because of the wealth effect and the competition for goods out there, eventually, if the economy weakens enough, people won't be spending this type of money and prices should come down. That also goes with the oil aspect of saying, all right, forecast short term, maybe $73, $75, $78 a barrel. But by the end of 2025, I actually have a $50 handle priced in on crude oil to go to. And we can cover that chart. I don't think I'm going to cover it today because I'm running out of time already. But again, I can do more forecasting of these other things, inclusive of Bitcoin and so forth, into the Thursday video after the holiday. All right, so again, looking at the 10-year, eventually a rollover there. One of the things I'm watching like a hawk in 2025 is the dollar-yen. So the dollar-yen has really become a major player here in what's going on. So we're seeing inflation rising in Japan. The Japanese central bank is going to have to continue to hike rates. So again, while most other central banks are cutting rates, the Japanese central bank is actually going to have to raise rates because inflation is getting so bad over there. Now, what I'm seeing here is a very interesting chart, right? You have this trend line here, right, through these lows. We broke down, we retraced to the scene of the crime, we fell, we retraced again, and then the question is, do these lines meet, and does price eventually hammer in there, and then does it fall at some point in the future, or does it break out? Again, remember, this is the dollar-yen, so the lower this goes, it means, I believe, and I got to think about this real quick. So this is how many yen per dollar, right? So the dollar strengthens, this goes up. But if the yen strengthens, then this would actually fall. So if rates go up, you'd actually assume that we might see a pullback in the dollar-yen to the downside. All right, so again, overall, this chart, the reason I'm bringing this to your attention is this was kind of the beginning catalyst for what ruffled the markets in July into August when we had the biggest market correction in 2024. And so we do want to pay attention to this, especially with the central bank there potentially raising rates. All right, let's go to a couple other charts here, guys. I was just looking at JP Morgan to kind of price out where I thought the financials could go in 2026. To do that, I'm just flipping through the different time frames here, and you can see what an incredible run on JP Morgan just since 2022 lows. It was a $100 stock, and now it's at $250 or thereabouts. That is a huge, huge run on JP Morgan, especially for a financial. Financials don't usually run there. Now, one trend line I'm watching really closely is this one, okay? So for JP Morgan, technically as an investor, it's safe until this line breaks. So if we come back here, folks, and we take a look at this, we have a very obvious trend line from 2023 through the low here and through the low here and here. Now, right now, it's above that level, so it's okay, but we do want to monitor if price comes into this level at around 225. If that breaks, that starts to cause major problems. And we do want to pay attention because we've seen regional banks, obviously, over the last couple of years have issues. But at some point, what is commercial real estate doing? I mean, where is that going in 2025? What kind of problems is that going to create? What about all the refinancing of U.S. debts? Now, granted, that's not necessarily a J.P. Morgan problem. That's more of a government problem and a taxpayer problem, unfortunately for us. But those are all things that we want to play into. And then ultimately, if the housing market starts to weaken and we see default rates, and that's something that I'm watching and I'm forecasting for, is that we've seen an uptick in default rates, credit cards, auto loans, even homes going into default or into foreclosure. Those are all starting to uptick more and more. And I do think as the economy weakens, we're going to see that continue to increase. And that actually could be a headwind for the financials as well.
Bitcoin's bullish momentum has traders eyeing unprecedented price levels, with projections of $130,000 or more seen as increasingly likely. On January 2, Bitcoin regained the $95,000 level, bolstered by a 1.5% daily gain as Wall Street prepared for its first trading session of 2025. After testing monthly lows earlier in the week, Bitcoin demonstrated resilience, avoiding a deeper support retest and reigniting optimism among market participants. Prominent trader Don Crypto Trades highlighted Bitcoin's recent price action, noting how liquidity sweeps on both sides of its range set the stage for potential breakout moves. With $95,800 acting as a key resistance level, Dan advised traders to monitor the range's breakout direction closely in the coming weeks, signaling that significant price movement could be imminent. Similarly, trader Gel drew parallels between Bitcoin's current trajectory and past bullish cycles, predicting a potential surge to $130,000, $150,000 in the near future. Entrepreneur Jason Williams echoed this sentiment, citing Bitcoin's return to an accumulation phase as a strong foundation for a Q1 breakout. Williams projected a target of $131,500, asserting that consolidation phases often precede explosive growth. Adding to the optimism, Cole Kennelly of Volmex forecasted a broader market rally fueled by renewed participation from traditional finance players. With year-end rebalancing behind, the stage appears set for a transformative start to 2025 in crypto markets.
Bitcoin yesterday doing exactly what we talked about was the likely scenario, which is bouncing off the support here. Now, again, remember, as a trader, we just are monitoring this line, which is around 92,000, give or take, and this trend line, which is upsloping, currently sitting around 102,400 or so. But the point being is that you might go like this, like this, like this, like this. But then, as of now, this is what type of pattern is this? It's a bear megaphone, essentially a bear flag, but we'll call it a megaphone because it's there. The two trend lines are diverging versus coming together. The idea being is as long as you can't take out this trend line here, then this is a bearish pattern. We know that MicroStrategies bought another 2,000 plus Bitcoin just in the last, I think, week or so. So they continue to buy. Dollar cost averaging up, not my favorite strategy. But again, I guess when you're really long term, it doesn't matter that much from Michael Saylor's point of view. If you break here at at 92, you're likely headed to 74 to 75. That's where I will be waiting patiently to buy. If it doesn't get there, so be it. And then if it breaks above 108, you go to the high end of this. So this trend line is still resistance. And wherever that is, right now it's at 114 to 115. But again, we'll monitor that. But right now, bias probability-wise, I always try to speak in those terms. It's favoring a slight negative bias. Just a matter of, does it break now or does it break into the new year? Natural gas pulling back today. Monster move yesterday. We day traded it in the Apex Live day trading room on the short side. We caught the high of the day. That was a great trade. Congratulations if you were in there. It was a fantastic trade right there. I think I made a little over $5,000 on that trade alone. Today we're seeing a pullback on that one. And then silver and gold, you can see again, we've kind of talked about the price action. Here's your breakdown, bearish pattern, another breakdown starting, and I'm still eyeing this area right in here, somewhere around 2750 as a downside target. Gold today, gold is flat to positive, hugging this trend line right here. Nothing new to report on that.
Presto Research has painted an optimistic picture for Bitcoin, Solana, and Ethereum in 2025, driven by expectations of favorable global liquidity. Head of Research Peter Chun recently shared that Bitcoin is projected to reach an astonishing $210,000, a target derived from its market value to realized value, NBRV ratio. This forecast has sparked excitement as Bitcoin continues to cement its status as a key player in the financial landscape. Solana is also expected to shine, with a price target of $1,000, based on its potential to match Ethereum's 2021 peak market capitalization of $500 billion. Presto attributes this projection to Solana's rising institutional interest, active development, and favorable supply dynamics. Ethereum, meanwhile, is forecasted to gain ground against Bitcoin, with its Ethereum/BTC ratio climbing to 0.05. Improvements in liquidity fragmentation and user experience are anticipated to drive Ethereum's growth, further solidifying its role as a leading blockchain platform. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.